Welcome learners to our lesson about whole numbers, and our focus for today will be on practice and application. So let's see what this lesson has for us today. We are going to be doing calculations with whole numbers. Remember, we learned how to calculate without the use of a calculator. So let's use those methods in today's lesson. So as our first question there, we have 4 plus 3 open bracket 5 minus 1. Now remember, you learned many methods of how to calculate without the use of a calculator. So you can use whichever method that you prefer. Let's calculate. Remember, we are working on either sides of the addition. So there are two terms here. We have the 4 and we have that whole term there. We are going to start by simplifying that term there. We have 4 plus 3, and in the brackets, 5 minus 1 is 4. When we continue with that calculation, we have 4 plus 3 times 4 is 12. And our final answer is 16. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We have there 7 minus 3 plus 5 multiplied by 4. Again, remember, we work on either sides of the addition or the subtraction. So now we have here 7 minus 3 plus, and then the 5 times 4 is one term. So we are going to multiply those two, and it's going to give us 20. So now we have 7 minus 3, which is 4, plus 20 gives us 24 as the final answer. Did you also get the same answer? I really hope you did. So let's move on to the next one. The different calculation techniques. Remember, we learned how to calculate using the column method? Let's calculate 32 plus 165. So we have here 32, and we are going to add 165. Now, remember to place each digit in the correct place value. So we have there 2 ones, and we are adding 5 ones. So 2 plus 5 is 7 ones. Then we have 3 tens, and we are adding 6 tens. So 3 tens and 6 tens gives us 9 tens. And then we only have the 100 from the 165. So we are just going to place the 100 in the hundreds column. Our answer for 32 plus 165 is 197. Let's move on to the next one. We have there 34 multiplied by 4. Can you do that calculation? Let's write out our columns. So 34 multiplied by 4. We have 4 multiplied by 4, which gives us 16. 16 is 1 10 and 6 ones. So let us write the 6 under the ones, but the 10 has to go into the tens column. Then we have 3 tens multiplied by 4. So that is 30 multiplied by 4. 30 multiplied by 4 is 120. But remember, we have that 10 that we need to add. So 120, if we add the 10, that gives us 130. The 3 will go in the tens, and the 1 will go in the hundreds column. So our answer for 34 times 4 is 136. Let's move on to the next one. We have 267 minus 253. Now remember, we write the digit of each number in the correct place value. Okay, I am pretty sure by now you've calculated that, but let's do it together. So we've got our ones, 7 ones minus 3 ones. That leaves us with 4 ones. Then we have 6 tens minus 5 tens. That gives us 1 10. And then 200 minus 200 leaves us with Nothing. So our answer for 267 minus 253 is 14. Okay. Let's look at long division. Now remember, with long division, we are going to use our clue board. So our clue board, we are saying 370 divided by 2. Let's think of the multiples of 2. We are trying to find out how many groups of 2 are in 370. Now, when you think about it, let's start off big. So 2 multiplied by 100 is 200. So 200 is not enough, so we have to go bigger. So let's think of, so when I think of 2 multiplied by 15, we know that gives us 30. So 2 multiplied by 150, that is going to give us 300. Can we see that we are close to that 370? But I think we can still take it bigger. So when I think of 2 multiplied by 18, that gives me 36, which means that 2 multiplied by 180 is going to give me 360. I think 360 is quite close. Let's take it one up. 2 multiplied by 190. Because 2 multiplied by 19 would be 38. So 2 multiplied by 190 is 380. But that is too big for us. So let us stick with the 360. So 2 multiplied by 180 gives us 360. Let's work with that. So because we multiplied by 180, we are going to put the 100 in the hundreds column, the 8 tens in the tens column, and then we have that. So 180 multiplied by 2 gives us 360. So we are going to subtract that. 370 minus 360 leaves us with just 10. Now we need to find how many groups of 2 are in 10. So that one is an easy one. 5 of them. So when we say 5 ones multiplied by 2, it gives me an answer of 10. Then 10 minus 10 is 0. There are no remainders there. So our answer for 370 divided by 2 is 185. Let's move on to the next one. So the next one that we have there is 1,392 divided by 4. Do you think you can do that one? Let's do it together. Now let's not forget our clue board. And we are going to look for the multiples of 4. So I am going to start there by saying, so because we are dealing with a big number, 1,000, so we are going to go big. Let us start with 4 multiplied by, for you to see it easier, let's start with 4 multiplied by 3. So 4 multiplied by 3 is 12. But because I am looking for a big number, I'm going to say 4 multiplied by 30. That gives me 120. It is still not big enough. So let's move on and multiply with perhaps 300. And that gives us 1,200. I think that's close enough. Let's work with that. So because I multiplied with 300, I am going to place a 3 in the hundreds column. Then 300 multiplied by 4 gives me 1,200. I'm going to subtract. So when I subtract 1,392 and I subtract 1,200, I am left with 192. So now I need to find out how many groups of 4 are in 192. Again, I'm going to go back to my clue board. Now, when I think of 4 times 4, that gives me 16. So, perhaps if I say 4 times 40, that's going to give me 160. I think I'm going to work with that. So 4 multiplied by 40. So because I multiplied by 40, I need to place a 4 in the tens column, and then 40 multiplied by 4 is 160. And then when I subtract that, 192 minus 160, that leaves me with 32. Now, how many groups of 4 are there in 32? That one is an easy one because we know that 4 times 8 is 32. So 8 times 4 is 32. We are going to subtract that. We are left with 0, and then that means there are no remainders. 1,392 divided by 4 is 348. Let's go to an ad break, and then we'll see you just now.